Hey, good morning, Michael. How you doing,
Hey,
sir?
good morning, Kyle. I'm doing fantastic, sir.
Excellent, excellent. And good morning, y'all, all you beautiful people out there on the internet. What's going on? Thanks for joining us this morning. Dialed in Elevate Exchange. We'll kick the show off in just a bit. Give everyone a chance to get settled in here. Um, Michael, what are you drinking this morning?
I've got some Folgers.
Folgers in your cup. Yeah, that little jingle, right? First thing I thought of when you said that. It's interesting, like just like what people think of when like
Market.
branding, right? Branding and marketing.
That's right. It's an amazing instrument. Amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. We got some people joining already. Got some comments out there. Good morning, Casey from LinkedIn. Good morning, sir. Cool. So if this is your first time joining, oh, here, first time, Scott. Scott Dorr, first time. Good morning. Thanks for the convo. Yes, thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Yeah. So if this is your first time, we are recording a podcast live in this very beginning stage here. We're live. We're just saying hello. So pop in, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from, where you're listening from. We'll kick the show off in just a second. I promise. And just we're doing a podcast here, so I'm going to play the intro in a little bit. We're going to get into Michael's story, and Michael is the CISO for Dallas County. So we're going to get into his story, how he got where he is, and what he's most dialed into, what he's most passionate about. They say that it's not the most intelligent people who survive. It's not the strongest. It's the people that are the most adaptable to change who actually survive and make a difference and thrive. So that's what we want to kind of get into. To that part of Michael's story and what we can take away from that for all of us to learn from. So with that, Michael, you ready to do this?
I am ready, my friend.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, what's up, Drew? What's going on, man? What is up, Drew? All right, we're gonna play this off right now. Let's do it. There will always be somebody stronger, faster, and smarter than you. Surviving depends on your adaptability to change. Those who are the most adaptable are dialed in. What's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Dialed In Elevate Exchange, a show for CIOs, CISOs, and IT directors. Today, I'm joined by Michael Alexander. He is the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer for Dallas County. Michael, are you ready to get dialed in?
I am ready to get dialed in, Kyle.
Let's do it, man. So, what is that thing within your profession that you are the most dialed into, that you've been able to be the most adaptable to?
If I had to put it in a couple of sentences, what I would say is that I've always had a tremendous determination um, to make it to the sea level. I said to myself, I remember being just a young lad, running around with my friends that I grew up with, and they're like, "Hey, what are you going to be when you grow up?" "I'm going to be a fireman, and I'm going to be a truck driver." And I'm like, "Nah, I want to be an executive."
That's awesome, man. So you realize that like at a really early age, which is
Yeah,
like a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't. Well, like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to be, right?
yeah. No, I mean, I didn't really realize it until I arrived, and then my mom reminded me, like, "Yeah, you used to say that all the time. You're going to be a chief executive, something, something, something." And so, over a course of 40 years, I arrived. And so, yeah, it's a fantastic situation.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. And yeah, so as we get more into the story, just a quick shout out before I forget. Elevate IT DFW Summit's going virtual, so it's going to be including TOLA now. So July 10th, 8 to 4 p.m. online. So we'll get those links out to you guys as well. So Michael, you've done a lot of different roles, right? So previous to this, to your role as the CISO for Dallas County, you were at Benefit Mall as head of enterprise security. So you've been in security for quite a while, right? What, like 20 years?
So, since departing from the armed services in 1995, I've been in IT ever since then. And there's a piece in the armed services that I also performed in the security space. But as a civilian, yes, since 1995. And I think more importantly for our group, since I believe most of your viewers are senior members of IT. Probably since year 2002, I've been in the management space. And I had the opportunity to enter into a lot of early stage organizations, and it really honed in some of my skills. And I've gone to other organizations that were much larger and much more mature. And so I was able to really create a well balanced approach to infrastructure, which is my core. And then I defected, as some have told me, over into security and became a purist, I guess somewhere around 2012. And I've been here ever since and have loved every step of the journey.
Well, first and foremost, man, we thank you for your service. Tell me a little bit about that story, right? You said that just with what's been going with your career, right? Growing up impoverished, intelligence analyst in the army, right?
That's correct. That's correct. So, yeah, born and raised in California, San Bernardino, and you know, mom and dad, they did their best. They lived an honest life, but they didn't have the opportunities to get higher education. And so, when you're unable to get higher education, you know the rest of that story. There's some limitations on your earning capability. And as such, we lived in some pretty tough areas, and there were some times where meals were kind of skinny, and early on, I said to myself as I looked at the TV show Dallas, I'm gonna be like them when I grow up. I'm never gonna want for anything, minus the drama, of course.
Right, right. That's awesome, man. Like, so, what is it? What is it that you think is like that makes you tick? That like you're able to just like see this opportunity, and like you said you knew that I'm going to be an executive. Like, how do you
I
get in that
had
mindset?
I had one relative that was really, really squared away. That's an army term. And what it means is he really had his life together. And he worked for the Los Angeles Police Department as an investigator. And there would be times when we would come together as a family, and he would always say, "Hey, Mike, you know what? Your mom was telling me about your dream. Hey, don't let any circumstances stand in your way. If something meets you and it stops you in your tracks, find a way to get around it." And hence when we opened up, I talked about determination. And so yeah, it was Uncle Charles, who was my shining light to help me see that I didn't have to remain in that state. And if I just really pressed and pushed myself and didn't settle or take no as an answer or a final answer, that I could get to where I wanted to get to. So, big shout out to Uncle Charles. He's gone on to be with the Lord, but I
Oh,
love him nonetheless.
oh man. Well, that's we can all wish that we had have an Uncle Charles like that, man.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's awesome. So getting down the road more. So now you're a CISO for Dallas County, right? You guys are going through some of the most challenging times in our current history, right? So, what's the feeling like? What's the pulse like being head of Dallas County security?
Well, it's very challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenging. So I would say that first off, I have one of the most supportive executive teams that a practitioner could hope for. If I take a presentation in and I build it on sound facts, and then I ask for something after that, 9.5 out of 10 times, they're going to grant that because they recognize the value of security. And I talk to a lot of my brothers and sisters, and they don't necessarily always have the same testimony. And so it's because of that that we've been able to really advance our program. We have not arrived, There are significant challenges. We just recently, as a result of COVID-19, were forced to virtualize the entire government. That's a tall order for a paper-based entity. And
So
so
you virtualized the entire government of Dallas County.
in a couple of months, practically, yes.
Wow.
Yes. You know, at the end of the day, the citizens still have to have their services. And there are things that they depend on us to provide that we must provide. And so there was a short outage period, and then we went to work. We have a lot of fantastic folks and just really, really bright minds. We all came together and architect solutions that didn't sacrifice security, and we were able to pull that off. And now we're acting as a bit of a model for a lot of the other counties, some of which we're the eighth largest county in the U.S., and some of the larger counties are even looking to us to say, "Hey, how'd you guys do that?"
Wow. So you guys are setting the example now.
Pretty much, pretty much,
That's incredible.
it's a
Um,
pretty awesome experience.
so when you look at out at cybersecurity, right? What cybersecurity trends and what's been going on with trends in attacks and trends in protection? What are the things that have you most concerned and also have you most excited?
On the concerned side, so in my role, I have an opportunity to speak to a number of practitioners, some at the city level, some municipalities, some outside of the state of Texas, just because of our size and stature. And what I'm learning and hearing the most that's concerning is that their security awareness programs are failing. And so you can have like super duper fancy firewalls, next gen, this, that, and the other, AI, ML, this, that, and the other. But if your users are not doing what you're asking them to do and they're still clicking on stuff and downloading stuff, then all of the controls don't really matter. And so therein is a bit of an evangelizing that I've been doing within our county to ramp up that particular effort. And as I hear about situations like this, I'm sharing them with other practitioners to go, hey, this is really, really big. As an example, our spear phishing tied to COVID went up right around 54%. That's huge, and it's no, it shouldn't surprise anyone that that's the easiest vector for the bad guys to exploit. Um, and so that's on the concern side. On the opposite side of that, I have been able to witness through a number of our vendors and partners that the I'm going to call them the second generation of AI and ML based technologies are really, really adding value to the analysis portion, to the SOC piece, to bubble up to the top those incidents that should stop work and have analysts go take a look at whatever the reading is from the solution. And that's a model that we haven't seen. More probably 60% of all of the entities that I speak with for counsel and mentoring and such, they're still doing it the old-fashioned way. With a security analyst taking a look at logs each day. Yeah, they probably have a sim, but it's the old model, and you still got to dig through it and find stuff. And so the next gen of ML and AI based analytics and security as a service are really, really interesting.
Wow, no, yeah, it's fascinating to hear. You kind of echo back some of the same challenges that we've been hearing about for years. It's just the user behavior, the user adoption, the user's awareness, right? To not click on that email, to not do things that to some of us who are in the know on cybersecurity think are common sense, but really find out that it's really not common sense, right? Common sense is not common. So how do you bridge that gap? how do you educate entire staffs, right? And as the staffs are larger, it's harder to do, right? And how do you continuously educate them and make security not this like painful thing that we gotta like do these trainings once a quarter or whatever? Like how do we do that? Or
Yeah,
do we not have the answer for that yet?
well, what we're doing is we're looking at the industry. There are some leaders out there who are doing some pretty creative stuff with security awareness training. Dallas County has formed a partnership with Know Before, and they have a bank of modules like I've never seen before, Kyle. I mean, if you have PCI requirements, if you've got HIPAA requirements, I mean, I got to deal with CJI, criminal justice information, whatever the governance model, they've got training for it, and it's really, really well developed training. There are 5 to 7 minute modules that you can send down to the user base more frequently, to keep their awareness high. And then what we have opted to do is intermingle that with security newsletters, not big, long, lengthy dissertations, just, hey, this is a social engineering newsletter. Here's 5 things that we want you to keep top of mind. This is what they're going to do. Here's how you defend against it. Remember this. So, really small, bulletized um, um, communications to the users just to keep these things in the top of their mind. It's a challenge.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it is. Uh, Previously, you said that you were most known for risk mitigation, infrastructure, and persuasion. Let's talk about persuasion for a minute, because as an executive, as a CISO leader, right, a lot of your job is going to be in the sense of persuading people to your cause, right, and helping other leaders in the business understand that cybersecurity is a huge concern and should be dealt with responsibly, right? So let's talk about that.
Yeah. There's a young lady. I don't know if I should mention her. She's a CIO here in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, and I had an opportunity to work with her quite extensively. And one of the things that she shared with us when I was at the director level, she said, "Ladies and gentlemen, when you bring me a situation, when you bring me a problem, I want you to also bring me a recommendation." She said, "And if it's a hard topic, make sure you have a story. Use your data to tell a story. Stories are engaging, and people can relate to stories far better than they can to raw facts." And so I took that and literally ran with it. And so all of my presentations, I always try to tell a story. I always give little nuggets throughout to keep it interesting so that the audience can be engaged. I keep it, um, I create it predicated on my audience. And so those are a few of the things that really allow me to express myself and why I feel that a particular solution or a particular resource is necessary. um, yeah, it's because of those reasons. And so over time, some of my peers have said, "You're just a great persuader." And with regard to my, human resources that I manage, I I don't I don't see them as just employees. I have a vested interest in each of them, and so I do all that I can to help them grow. I mentor them, I coach them, and I prepare them for the next level. I was very fortunate when I left the military. They said, "You're not going to be able to go right from the army into a management job, fella. You got to start all over." So I came up through the ranks, and I've held all those positions. So I know what it takes on a day to day to be effective in the roles that they hold.
Wow. Wow. So now when people start to say like, "Oh, you're a great persuader," like we tend to like self-identify with that. Like it becomes a part of you like, "Okay, well, I'm a persuader." So like did you read any books about that, or just like this just like something that just you just develop over time, and how do you develop that muscle of being
I
able to
would
tell good stories and be a persuader?
I would say that I did have assistance as a military man. I had what's called an intelligence center, and I had, I don't know, maybe 25, I can't remember, it's been so long, 25 to 30 analysts in that center. The analysts would work with the three-letter organizations and other larger Army branches to collect intelligence. They would then send the intelligence to me and my counterpart, Staff Sergeant Robinson, my very best friend in the whole wide world. And we would prepare that information for a briefing to the colonel and his adjutant. And so we did that every single day. That's what we did. And it was, I think, early on as a 20 something briefing a full birth colonel and sometime brigadier generals. You kind of can't be, wishy washy. You really got to have confidence in yourself and what you're sharing, because if they detect that there's just a little bit of uncertainty about a particular part that you just said, they're going to pick that thing apart. And you don't want to be on the other side of that if you haven't done your homework. So I think that was part of that. I did read a number of books by Colin Powell, who was a fantastic leader, widely known for his management skill sets. And then that plus my own, I want to say, on the job learning. I think all of that culminated into the person that sits before you today.
Wow, awesome. Incredible stuff so far, man. Appreciate you sharing this with us.
Yeah.
So, wrapping up here, a few more questions for you. So, is there a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is looking to follow a similar path to you?
I spend an awful lot of time um, giving back, and however I can, whoever will listen, I will go and I will advocate that you don't have to be this way. You don't have to settle for this. There is a way out. No, it's not going to be microwave style, but there is a way out. And so I would say that tenacity certainly can be learned. Most people don't want to exercise patience. Patience is a hallmark. It's even in the Bible, and it's there for a reason. And so I think big idea here is, if you have a dream, don't let your dream go. Pursue it, work it until you realize it. And once you realize it, then create a new dream and go get that one.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love it. And throughout your career, was there a mentor or many mentors, or was someone that you would want to call out that helped you?
I have so many. I would hate to miss one, but there were numerous folks along the way that I created as my own personal mastermind. That I said, you know what, I see a skill set there in that person that I don't have. I'm gonna go and interact with them and find out how they develop that skill set. And I went and I hung with them and I had lunch with them, and we would meet on a quarterly basis, and then they got me up to that point, and I would go, hey, I love you to death, thank you for what you share, but I'm on a pursuit. I'm really really hungry, and I got to go find a person that knows this. And they would go, oh, I know just a person who does that. Go talk to Bill. And Bill would bring me up to speed in an area, and then Bill would pass me off to Susie, and the list goes on. And from there, I was able literally to get really really well rounded in the leadership and management space.
Excellent, excellent. And as an executive leader, what would you say is the top or the top couple of characteristics that you value the most in other people that you're looking to hire or what have you?
I think the biggest thing for me is passion. Right, you can teach skill sets, but if the individual that you want to bring into a particular role doesn't have passion, it's just a job, then I'm probably going to pass because I want people to serve in roles that they absolutely love doing. And maybe it's a point in time love. I'm okay with that because, again, I want to develop him or her to their next level. But to the extent that I can get that passion, that's number one for me because if I've got passion, I can train the rest.
Excellent, excellent. And last question for you: what's something you do daily to keep yourself dialed in? Like, how do you stay where you are, being the most adaptable to change?
I don't take myself too seriously. I never have said, even though I achieved my first objective, the one we talked about today, as becoming a senior leader, I've remained humble. I'm incredibly helpful to others, however I can be, and I assist in to the extent that sometimes I probably shouldn't. And I think the last thing is I have some morning routine. I have a morning routine that I do, and that keeps me centered with my spirituality. And so all of those things, I believe, help to make the guy that had the opportunity to interview with you this morning.
Excellent, man. And just because you said it, what's the morning routine? You got me curious now.
Well, I get up at 6:45, and then I listen to a chapter of the Bible, and then me and my wife we pray together, and then I do 10 or 15 minutes of meditation, probably 10 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of visualization. If there's a goal, short-term goal that I want to be after, and so I just saturate my being with that goal, and I do that through visualization, and then I start my day.
Awesome. It sounds like you start every day being grateful.
Indeed,
I love
and
it.
at midday, I give additional thanks just about every single day.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you being here with us today, Michael. Thank you so much, man.
You're very
And,
welcome. I appreciate the time and hope you guys all have a fantastic day.
yep, and thank you everyone for tuning in today. We're gonna start doing double headers every Tuesday, so look out for that. That'll be a welcome change. And until then, we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Dialed In. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it.